If you're buying a budget flip front helmet, this is where things get messy. Because on paper, loads of them look almost identical. They've got a flip up chin bar, an internal sun visor, a micrometric buckle, and they all promise to be comfortable, practical, and ideal for commuting. But once you start looking properly, the differences are much bigger than they first appear. Some are approved to ride with the chin bar open, some are not. Some come with pinlock included, some just say Pinlock-ready, which means you still need to buy the insert separately. Some are lighter, some have better Bluetooth compatibility, and some look like good value until you compare them properly against the others. This is where the Motor Central logo comes up. So in this video, we're comparing 5 budget flip front motorcycle helmets to see which one gives you the best value for money. I'm Jamie from Moto Central, and if you've been watching the channel recently, you might have seen a premium flip front helmet comparison. That video did really well, and a lot of you seemed interested in the higher end side of the market. So today, we're doing the opposite. Instead of looking at premium modular helmets, we're looking at the more affordable end of the market to see which ones you can actually get when you spend less. So the 5 helmets we're looking at are the Spada Orion 2 from $139.99, the Caberg Duke X from $184.99, the HJC C91N from $139.99, the MT Atom 2 SV from $129.99, and the LS2 FF908 Strobe 2 from $99.99. And I want you to play along with this one. Before we get to the end, let me know in the comments which one you think is going to win, because honestly, this comparison is closer than it looks. We'll be looking at P&J homologation, how the chin bar works, shell construction, weight, pinlock, Bluetooth compatibility, safety information, comfort, practicality, and overall value for money. And as always, specs are useful, but the best helmet is still the one that fits your head properly. Right, let's start with the MT Atom 2 SV. So first up is the MT Atom 2 SV, starting from $129.99. This is one of the stronger all-rounders in the group because it gives you a sensible price, modern safety approval, and a decent everyday feature list. The MT Atom 2 SV is P&J homologated. That means it's approved for use with the chin bar closed and also the chin bar raised. That matters because not every flip front helmet is actually approved to be ridden with the chin bar open. Some helmets have a flip front mainly for convenience when you're stopped, putting the helmet on, taking it off, or talking at a petrol station. But with the MT, you do get P&J approval, so that is a big bonus. And this is where I always check how the chin bar actually feels to use. How easy is it to release? How cleanly does it lift? Does it feel secure when it's raised? And does it feel solid again when you lock it back down? Because with flip-up helmets, the mechanism itself is part of the daily experience. If you're commuting, touring, stopping for fuel, or talking to people while parked, you're going to use this all the time. So in this helmet, the shell is HIRP, which stands for High Impact Resistant Polymer. In simple terms, this is a polymer-based shell designed to balance protection, durability, and affordability. At this price point, that's exactly what you'd expect. You're not getting carbon fibre or premium composite construction, but you are getting a practical modern shell aimed at everyday road use. The MT Atom 2 SV weighs approximately 1700 grams, plus or minus 50 grams. That puts it in the normal range for a budget flip front helmet. The visor is Pinlock-ready, but the pinlock insert is not included. So if you're buying this helmet for commuting, winter riding, or wet British weather, it's worth budgeting for the pinlock insert as an extra. The MT Atom 2 SV is also Bluetooth compatible, so it can accept a compatible intercom system. This makes it suitable for sat-nav instructions, music, calls, rider-to-rider communication, or pillion communication. Safety-wise, it's one of the stronger helmets in the group. The MT Atom 2 has a 4-star sharp rating, which is very good for a helmet at this price point. For comfort, you get a removable liner, internal sun visor, Pinlock-ready visor, and a practical flip-up design aimed at commuting and touring. It's not trying to be a premium touring helmet, but it gives you a very usable day-to-day package for the money. So the MT Atom 2 SV is a very good all-rounder. You get P&J homologation, HIRP shell construction, an approximate 1700 gram weight, Pinlock-ready visor, Bluetooth compatibility, and the 4-star sharp rating. The only real downside is that the Pinlock insert is not included, but overall, for $129.99, this is a very strong start. So next up is the HJC C91N, starting from $139.99. So this is probably the biggest brand name in the comparison, and it brings a lot of practical everyday features. But there is one major issue for this particular test. The HJC C91N is not P&J homologated. That means it does have a flip-up chin bar, but it's not approved for riding with the chin bar open. So for this comparison, the HJC loses ground straight away. You can still use the flip-front mechanism for convenience. It is useful when putting the helmet on, taking it off, talking at fuel stops, or getting some air when you're parked. But when riding, you should treat this as a helmet that is used with the chin bar closed. So with the HJC, the mechanism is still worth showing. You can flip it up when you're stopped and you're talking to someone, or when you're putting the helmet on and taking it off. But the key point is this: can it lift, and is it approved to ride open, are not the same thing. This is the bit that riders need to be aware of. The C91N uses HJC's advanced polycarbonate composite shell. Polycarbonate is common in this price bracket, but HJC does have a strong reputation for producing well-finished helmets with a good fit, good comfort, and sensible everyday usability. The HJC C91N weighs approximately 1700 grams. That puts it close to the MT Atom 2 SV and the LS2 Strobe 2. It's not especially light, but it is about what you'd expect from a budget flip-up helmet with internal sun visor and modular chin bar. The HJC C91 is Pinlock ready, but the insert is sold separately. So again, if you ride in cold or wet conditions, you'll probably want to add a Pinlock insert into your budget. Bluetooth compatibility is one of the HJC's strongest points. The C91N is ready for smart HJC Bluetooth systems. It also has speaker pockets, which makes it a good option if you want a neat Bluetooth setup. The HJC C91N is ECE 2206 approved, so it meets the latest European helmet standards. However, unlike the MT and Spada, we do not have a sharp rating included for this helmet in the comparison. In terms of comfort, the HJC has a strong everyday package. You get removable and washable interior, moisture wicking lining, glasses grooves, speaker pockets, ventilation, and an internal sun visor. That makes it a very practical commuting helmet, especially if you wear glasses or want to fit Bluetooth. So the HJC C91N is a good helmet, but it has one clear problem in this comparison. It's not P&J homologated. Its strengths are advanced polycarbonate composite shell, approximate 1700 gram weight, Pinlock-ready visor, smart HJC Bluetooth compatibility, glasses grooves, speaker pockets, and ECE 2206 approval. If you ride with a chin bar closed and want a trusted brand, the HJC is still a good option. But if you specifically want to be able to ride with the chin bar open, one of the P&J rated helmets makes more sense. Next is the Caberg Duke X, starting from $184.99. This is the most expensive helmet in the comparison, but it also brings one of the strongest spec sheets. It's still budget friendly compared with premium flip front helmets, but in this group, it's definitely the expensive one. So the Caberg Duke X is ECE 2206 P&J homologated. That means it's approved for use with the chin bar open or closed, which is exactly what you want from a proper modular helmet. So on the P&J approval, the Caberg gets a clear tick. So the chin bar operation is something I would definitely show on camera here. Because if you're spending more on a flip front helmet, you want the mechanism to feel easy, positive, and secure. With modular helmets, it's not just about the spec sheet, it's also about how nice the helmet feels to use day to day. And this is where the Caberg starts to feel like the most premium option in the group. The Duke X uses LG Chem high-impact ABS shell construction. ABS is a strong thermoplastic material, and Caberg has managed to keep the overall helmet weight impressively low for a modular design. The Caberg Duke X weighs 1,550 grams plus or minus 50 grams. This makes it the lightest helmet in the comparison, and that is one of the Caberg's biggest advantages. Modular helmets can feel heavy on longer rides, especially on motorways or during a full day of touring, so saving weight can make a noticeable difference. The standard Caberg Duke X also has a pinlock included, which is a real advantage. That means you're getting proper anti-fog protection in the box rather than having to buy the insert separately. The Duke X is Bluetooth compatible and is ready for the Caberg ProSpeak Evo communication system. That gives it a neat integrated Bluetooth option if you want sat-nav instructions, music, phone calls, or intercom use. Safety-wise, the key point here is that the Duke X is ECE 2206 approved and P&J homologated. We do not have a specific sharp rating included for the Duke X in this comparison, so the main safety point is its modern ECE 2206 P&J certification. Comfort and practicality are also strong. You get a removable and washable liner, internal air circulation, rain protection rims, and a removable windstop. The windstop is especially useful because modular helmets can sometimes be draftier and noisier than full-face helmets. Overall, the Caberg feels like the most touring-focused and premium option in the group. So the Caberg Duke X is the premium pick here. You get ECE 2206 P&J homologation, LG Chem high-impact ABS shell, the lightest weight in the comparison at 1,550 grams, pinlock included, Caberg ProSpeak Evo Bluetooth compatibility, and a removable washable liner and windstop. The downside is obviously the price. At $189.99, it's the most expensive helmet here. So it's not the outright value winner, but it is probably the most refined helmet in the group. Next is the LS2 FF908 Strobe 2, starting from just $99.99. So this is the cheapest helmet in the comparison, but the spec is genuinely strong for the money. The LS2 Strobe 2 is ECE 2206 approved and P&J homologated. That means it's approved for use with the chin bar closed or open. For the cheapest in the comparison, this is a big win. Because this is the cheapest helmet here, I'll definitely show you the chin bar on camera. This is where viewers can see whether it feels like a proper usable modular helmet rather than just hearing that it is P&J homologated. At this price, getting ECE 2206 and P&J approval is already impressive, so visually showing the chin bar helps reinforce the value point. The Strobe 2 uses LS2's KPA shell, which stands for Kinetic Polymer Alloy. This is LS2's polymer-based shell material designed to balance strength, flexibility, and affordability. Another strong point is that the Strobe 2 comes in 3 shell sizes. That is excellent at this price because multiple shell sizes usually help with fit, comfort, and overall proportions across the size range. The LS2 Strobe 2 weighs around 1,700 grams, plus or minus 50 grams. That puts it close to the MT and the HJC. It's not especially light, but for a helmet under £100 with a flip front mechanism, internal sun visor, and P&J approval, that's still a very respectable figure. The LS2 Strobe 2 is Pinlock-ready, but the insert is not included. So like the MT and the HJC, you should budget for the Pinlock insert if you want a proper anti-fog performance. The Strobe 2 is Bluetooth compatible and is ready for an LS2 intercom setup. Again, that is a strong point for a helmet at this price. Safety-wise, the main point is the ECE 2206 approval and the P&J homologation. Again, we don't have a specific sharp rating included for the Strobe 2 in this comparison, so we're just judging it on its current ECE 2206 and P&J approval. Comfort-wise, the LS2 has 3D laser cut padding and is designed for commuting and touring use. Combined with its 3 shell sizes, Bluetooth compatibility, internal sun visor and P&J approval, it offers a lot for the money. And this is the helmet that could upset the whole comparison, because at $99.99, it does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough to make the others look expensive. So the LS2 Strobe 2 is the value champion. You get ECE 2206, P&J homologation, KPA shell construction, 3 shell sizes, approximate 1,700 gram weight, Pinlock-ready visor, Bluetooth compatibility, and 3D laser cut comfort padding. For $99.99, that is a very strong package. It might not feel as premium as the Caberg, and it does not have the same independent sharp results as the MT or Spada in this comparison, but purely on value, the LS2 is very hard to ignore. And finally, we have the Spada Orion 2, starting from $139.99. This helmet comes very strong once you compare the details properly. The Spada Orion 2 is ECE 2206 approved and P&J homologated. That again means it's approved for use with the chin bar open or closed. So it has a clear advantage over the HJC if open chin bar riding matters to you. So again, I'd show you the chin bar here because this is where the Spada needs to prove it's not just good on paper. You're getting P&J approval, a competitive price, a good weight, a sharp rating, and now you can actually see how the flip-up mechanism works on camera. That makes it feel like a proper, practical, everyday modular helmet, not just a list of specs. The Orion 2 uses durable ABS shell and comes in 2 shell sizes. That gives it a good balance of strength, weight, fit, and affordability. The Spada Orion 2 weighs approximately 1,600 to 1,650 grams. That makes it lighter than the MT, the HJC, and the LS2 on paper, and only slightly heavier than the Caberg. This is one of the reasons that Spada scores so well. It manages to stay affordable while still keeping the weight competitive. The Orion 2 comes with Pinlock included in the box. That gives it a genuine value advantage because you do not need to immediately buy an anti-fog system separately. For UK commuting and wet weather riding, that is a very useful feature. Bluetooth compatibility is also included, so the Orion 2 can accept a suitable intercom system. Safety is one of the Spada's strongest points. The Spada Orion 2 has a 4-star sharp rating, which is very good for a budget flip front helmet. So the Spada Orion 2 is one of the most complete helmets in the comparison. You get glasses friendly fit, chin curtain, removable washable liner, and visor lock. For $139.99, that is a very strong package indeed. And because the Pinlock is included in the box, the value case becomes even stronger. As an overall balance, price, weight, safety rating, and everyday practicality, the Spada is very impressive. So that's our comparison of 5 budget flip front helmets. Would you go for the cheapest option, the LS2 Strobe 2? Would you spend more for the lighter and more premium Caberg Duke X? Would you still pick the HJC because of the brand and the fit? Or would you go with my overall winner, the Spada Orion 2? Let me know in the comments which one you choose. And if you've owned any of these helmets, drop your experience below, especially around comfort, fit, wind noise, ventilation, and how they feel after a few hours on the bike. That kind of feedback really helps other riders who are trying to choose their next helmet. If this video helped, give it a like. Please subscribe for more motorcycle gear comparisons and check out the links in the description if you want to take a closer look at any of the helmets featured. Ride safe, thanks for watching, and if you want to see what changes when you spend more, click the premium flip front helmet video on the screen now.